Welcome to Stoic Mastery, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to help you lead a more thoughtful and fulfilling life. Today, we delve into a crucial aspect of Stoic practice, the power of silence. In a world full of noise and distraction, knowing when to hold your tongue is a profound skill that reflects both intelligence and wisdom. Our topic today is Stoic Silence, 15 things an intelligent person never says. The words we choose, or choose not to say, can define our character, shape our relationships, and influence our inner peace. By understanding what a wise person avoids saying, we can better align our speech and actions with the principles of Stoicism. Through this exploration, you'll gain insights into how to practice restraint in speech, avoid unnecessary conflict, and cultivate a mindset rooted in wisdom and self-control. Whether you're new to Stoicism or a seasoned practitioner, this discussion will provide valuable tools to enhance your daily life. Join us as we uncover these 15 key phrases that, when avoided, can lead to a more peaceful and thoughtful existence. Let's dive in and master the art of Stoic silence together. Part 1. I already know that. One of the first things a truly intelligent person avoids saying is, I already know that. At first glance, this phrase might seem harmless, or even a sign of confidence. However, from a Stoic perspective, it reveals a closed mind, a mind that is not open to learning, growing, or understanding new perspectives. In Stoicism, the pursuit of wisdom is an ongoing journey. The Stoics teach us that knowledge is infinite, and no matter how much we think we know, there is always more to learn. By saying, I already know that, we shut the door to new insights and opportunities for growth. This phrase can stifle curiosity, which is the engine of personal development. Imagine a scenario where someone is sharing their knowledge or experience with you. Even if the topic is familiar, there's always something new to gain, a fresh perspective, a nuance you hadn't considered, or a different approach to the same problem. By listening openly, you show respect for the other person's experience and maintain a humble approach to your own understanding. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of humility. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the limits of his own knowledge. Despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, his humility allowed him to continue learning and growing, even at the height of his power. This attitude is a hallmark of true wisdom. Furthermore, when we say, I already know that, we can inadvertently close ourselves off from relationships and connections. People appreciate being heard and valued. When we dismiss their words with this phrase, it can create a barrier, making others feel undervalued and unheard. In contrast, showing genuine interest, even in familiar topics, fosters deeper connections and mutual respect. Practicing Stoic silence in this context means recognizing that there is always more to learn, even from the most seemingly mundane conversations. It means embracing humility and staying open to the wisdom that others might offer. By avoiding the phrase, I already know that, you keep your mind open, your relationship strong, and your path to wisdom clear. In essence, Stoic mastery involves the continual practice of learning, questioning, and growing. No matter how much we know, there's always a greater depth of understanding to be gained. Embrace this mindset and you'll find that every conversation becomes an opportunity for growth and enlightenment. Part 2. This isn't fair. The phrase this isn't fair is one that an intelligent person, particularly one influenced by Stoic philosophy, strives to avoid. At first, it might seem natural to express frustration when life doesn't seem to treat us fairly. However, from a Stoic perspective, focusing on fairness can be a distraction from what truly matters, how we respond to the challenges we face. Stoicism teaches us that life is neither fair nor unfair. It simply is. The world operates according to its own rules, often indifferent to our personal desires or sense of justice. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, often reminded himself that the universe doesn't cater to our expectations. Instead of lamenting life's inherent unpredictability, the Stoic approach is to accept it with equanimity. By saying this isn't fair, we place ourselves in the role of a victim, powerless against the whims of fate. This mindset can lead to feelings of resentment, anger, and frustration, emotions that are counterproductive and can cloud our judgment. Stoicism, on the other hand, encourages us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and responses to external events. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, which divides the world into things we can control and things we cannot. Fairness, as a subjective human construct, often falls into the latter category. We cannot control how the world treats us, but we can control how we interpret and react to these situations. By shifting our focus from fairness to personal responsibility, we empower ourselves to navigate life's challenges with resilience and strength. Moreover, constantly judging situations as fair or unfair can lead to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. Life will never consistently meet our expectations, and if we rely on fairness as a measure of our happiness, we set ourselves up for continual disappointment. The Stoic approach is to cultivate an inner stability that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Instead of saying, "This isn't fair," the Stoic response is to accept the situation as it is, and to ask, "What can I do about it?" This shift in perspective transforms potential frustration into actionable wisdom. It allows us to focus on solutions rather than problems, and to find peace in the knowledge that we are doing our best within the given circumstances. In embracing the Stoic mindset, we learn to let go of the need for life to be fair. We understand that fairness is not a guarantee, but rather an illusion. What truly matters is our ability to face life's challenges with courage, wisdom, and composure. By avoiding the phrase, "This isn't fair," we free ourselves from the shackles of victimhood and step into the role of the wise and resilient Stoic. Part 3. I'm too busy. The phrase "I'm too busy" is one that many of us use frequently, often without much thought. However, from a Stoic perspective, this statement can reveal a misalignment of priorities and a misunderstanding of how we should approach time management and our responsibilities. Stoicism places a significant emphasis on the value of time. It is one of the few resources that, once spent, cannot be regained. The Stoics believed that how we choose to spend our time is a reflection of what we truly value. When we say, "I'm too busy," we may be signaling that we've lost sight of what's most important, or that we're allowing external demands to dictate our lives rather than making conscious decisions about where to focus our energy. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about the importance of managing our time wisely. In his work, On the Shortness of Life, he reminds us that life is long enough if we know how to use it properly. The issue is not that we don't have enough time, but that we often waste it on trivial matters, or allow it to be consumed by activities that don't contribute to our personal growth or well-being. When we claim to be too busy, we might be avoiding tasks or responsibilities that we find uncomfortable or challenging, rather than honestly assessing our priorities. It's easy to fill our days with activities and obligations, but the Stoic approach encourages us to pause and reflect on whether these activities truly align with our values and long-term goals. Are we spending our time on things that matter, or are we simply filling our schedules to avoid deeper reflection or difficult tasks? Moreover, the phrase "I'm too busy" can become an excuse for not engaging fully with the present moment. The Stoics teach us to be mindful of the now, to be fully engaged with whatever we are doing at the moment, rather than being distracted by an endless list of future tasks. By focusing on the task at hand, we can bring more quality and intention to our work, relationships, and personal growth. A more Stoic approach would be to recognize that being too busy is often a matter of perception and choice. Instead of using this phrase, we can learn to prioritize better, make conscious decisions about where we invest our time, and avoid overcommitting ourselves to activities that don't align with our values. By doing so, we gain control over our time and our lives, living more intentionally and wisely in accordance with Stoic principles. Part 4. That's not my problem. The phrase "that's not my problem" reflects a mindset that is antithetical to the Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes our interconnectedness as human beings and our responsibility to contribute positively to the world around us. When an intelligent person guided by Stoicism hears or considers saying, "That's not my problem," they recognize it as a signal to reassess their perspective. Stoicism teaches us that we are all part of a larger whole, a community, a society, and ultimately, the entire human race. This concept is rooted in the Stoic idea of cosmopolitanism, which suggests that we are citizens of the world and have a duty to act in the interest of the common good. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, frequently wrote about the importance of viewing ourselves as part of a greater collective, where the well-being of others is inherently connected to our own. When we dismiss something as "not my problem," we isolate ourselves from the broader human experience. This attitude fosters indifference and apathy, which can lead to a fragmented society where individuals only look out for their own interests. The Stoic perspective, however, encourages us to recognize that other people's problems are, in some way, our own. This doesn't mean we must take on every issue personally, but rather that we should cultivate empathy and a willingness to contribute where we can. Additionally, avoiding the phrase, "that's not my problem," helps us cultivate the virtues that Stoicism holds dear: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Justice, in particular, demands that we act fairly and contribute to the common good. When we see a problem and have the capacity to help, even in a small way, Stoic wisdom urges us to do so. This can be as simple as offering support to a colleague in need, participating in community efforts, or even just listening to someone who needs to be heard. Moreover, by rejecting the notion that something isn't our problem, we strengthen our character. It takes courage to step outside of our comfort zones and address issues that may not directly affect us. However, in doing so, we grow and develop a deeper understanding of our shared humanity. In essence, the Stoic approach is not to shy away from the problems around us, but to engage with them in a way that is balanced and thoughtful. We might not be able to solve every problem, but by contributing positively, we uphold the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature and society. By avoiding the mindset encapsulated in the phrase, "that's not my problem," we become not just better individuals, but better members of the global community. Part 5. I can't do anything about it. The phrase, "I can't do anything about it," is one that an intelligent person, particularly one who embraces Stoic principles, strives to avoid. This statement reflects a sense of helplessness and resignation, which is contrary to the Stoic belief in focusing on what we can control and taking responsibility for our actions and responses. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. According to this principle, life is divided into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus emphasize that while we cannot control external events, we can always control our responses to those events. By saying, "I can't do anything about it," we deny ourselves the power to influence our own lives and circumstances, no matter how challenging they may be. Instead of resigning ourselves to fate, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what is within our control: our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. Even in the most difficult situations, we have the power to choose our response. This choice, however small it may seem, can make a significant difference in our lives. By shifting our focus from what we cannot change to what we can influence, we empower ourselves to take meaningful action. For example, consider a situation where a person is facing a difficult work environment. While they may not be able to control the behavior of others or the decisions made by their superiors, they can control how they react to these challenges. They can choose to approach the situation with a positive attitude, seek constructive solutions, or even decide to leave the environment if it's truly toxic. The key is not to surrender to circumstances, but to actively engage with them in a way that aligns with their values and goals. Moreover, adopting the mindset of "I can't do anything about it" can lead to a passive existence, where we become spectators in our own lives. Stoicism, however, teaches us to be active participants. We are encouraged to live with purpose, take initiative, and strive for self-improvement, regardless of the external challenges we face. This proactive approach not only builds resilience, but also fosters a sense of agency and fulfillment. In essence, the phrase "I can't do anything about it" is a surrender to defeat before the battle has even begun. By rejecting this mindset and embracing the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, we reclaim our power and our ability to shape our lives. We may not be able to control the world around us, but we can always control how we choose to respond. And in that choice lies our true power. Part 6. I'm better than them. The phrase "I'm better than them" is a dangerous mindset that not only fosters arrogance, but also distances us from the core teachings of Stoicism. At its heart, Stoicism emphasizes humility, equality, and the understanding that every person has intrinsic value. When someone declares, "I'm better than them," they elevate themselves above others, which is antithetical to the Stoic pursuit of wisdom and virtue. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the belief that we are all part of a shared human experience. This perspective is rooted in the Stoic idea of cosmopolitanism, which views all human beings as equal members of the global community. By asserting superiority over others, we break this bond and create unnecessary divisions. Marcus Aurelius, a key Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the interconnectedness of all people and the importance of treating others with respect and dignity, regardless of their status or abilities. Arrogance, as expressed through the belief that one is better than others, blinds us to our own flaws, and limits our potential for growth. The Stoics teach that self-improvement is a lifelong journey. When we believe we are superior, we close ourselves off to learning from others. We miss opportunities to gain wisdom from their experiences and perspectives. True wisdom comes from recognizing that everyone we encounter can teach us something, whether through their virtues or their mistakes. Moreover, the notion of being better than someone else is often based on superficial criteria, such as wealth, social status, intelligence, or physical abilities, that do not define a person's true worth. Stoicism encourages us to look beyond these external factors and focus on the inner virtues that truly matter: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are not measured by comparing ourselves to others, but by how well we live in accordance with our own values. The phrase "I'm better than them" also undermines the Stoic practice of empathy. By considering ourselves superior, we fail to see others' struggles, challenges, and potential for growth. Empathy is a crucial Stoic virtue that allows us to connect with others, understand their perspectives, and act with compassion. When we embrace empathy, we realize that we are all on different paths, and that each person's journey is valid and valuable. In rejecting the mindset of superiority, we open ourselves to the possibility of genuine connection, learning, and personal growth. By understanding that we are not inherently better or worse than anyone else, we embrace a more Stoic view of life, one that values humility, equality, and the shared human experience. This perspective allows us to live more harmoniously with others and to grow in wisdom and virtue, without the burden of arrogance holding us back. Part 7. It's not my fault. The phrase "it's not my fault" is a defensive response that, while seemingly harmless, reflects a reluctance to take responsibility, a key principle in Stoic philosophy. When we utter these words, we shift blame onto others or external circumstances, distancing ourselves from accountability. From a Stoic perspective, this is a missed opportunity for growth, self-reflection, and the exercise of personal agency. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we have complete control over how we respond. This includes how we perceive our role in situations, whether positive or negative. By saying "it's not my fault," we deny our part in the outcome, potentially ignoring areas where we could improve or learn. This mindset limits our ability to grow because it prevents us from examining our actions and understanding how they contribute to the larger picture. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming ourselves for everything that goes wrong. Instead, it's about acknowledging our role, however small it may be, and understanding that we always have the power to influence our circumstances through our actions, decisions, and attitudes. When we embrace responsibility, we empower ourselves to make changes, learn from our experiences, and approach challenges with a proactive mindset. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is the idea of the circle of influence, which is closely related to the dichotomy of control. This concept encourages us to focus on what we can influence directly and to accept what we cannot. When we say, "it's not my fault," we may be focusing too much on the uncontrollable aspects of a situation, such as other people's actions or random events. A Stoic response, however, would be to reflect on what we could have done differently within our sphere of influence. This reflection is not about self-blame, but about honest assessment and the desire to improve. Moreover, constantly avoiding responsibility by saying, "it's not my fault," can harm our relationships and reputation. Others may perceive us as unreliable or unwilling to own up to our mistakes, which can erode trust and respect. In contrast, taking responsibility, even when the fault is shared, demonstrates integrity, maturity, and a commitment to growth. These are qualities that Stoicism values deeply. In essence, the phrase "it's not my fault" shields us from short-term discomfort, but at the cost of long-term growth. By avoiding this mindset and instead embracing responsibility, we align ourselves with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. We become more resilient, capable, and respected individuals who are not afraid to face our shortcomings and learn from them. This approach not only enhances our personal development but also strengthens our relationships and our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. Part 8. I don't need help. The phrase "I don't need help" often stems from a desire to appear strong, self-sufficient, or independent. However, from a Stoic perspective, this mindset can be limiting and counterproductive. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in solitary endurance but in the recognition of our interconnectedness and the wisdom to seek support when needed. At the heart of Stoicism is the understanding that we are all part of a larger community, a network of relationships that sustains us and to which we contribute. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, frequently wrote about the importance of mutual aid and cooperation. He recognized that no person is an island. We are all interdependent, and acknowledging this interdependence is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. When we say, "I don't need help," we may be denying ourselves valuable opportunities for growth and learning. Stoicism encourages us to be humble and to recognize that others may offer perspectives, skills, or resources that we lack. By refusing help, we not only isolate ourselves, but also limit our ability to overcome challenges effectively. A Stoic approach would involve assessing the situation objectively and recognizing when the assistance of others could lead to better outcomes. Furthermore, seeking help is not a sign of incompetence or failure. Rather, it is an acknowledgement of our humanity. The Stoics teach us to accept our limitations and to understand that it is through collaboration and shared wisdom that we achieve our fullest potential. In fact, asking for help can be seen as an exercise in courage and humility, two virtues highly regarded in Stoic philosophy. In addition, rejecting help can strain our relationships. It can signal to others that we do not trust them or value their input, which can create distance and weaken bonds. Conversely, by accepting help, we show respect for others' abilities and contributions, which strengthens our connections and fosters a sense of community. This mutual support is essential for a fulfilling life, as it aligns with the Stoic idea of living in harmony with others. Moreover, there is a danger in excessive self-reliance. It can lead to burnout, stress, and a sense of isolation. Stoicism teaches us the importance of balance and moderation in all aspects of life. This includes knowing when to stand strong on our own and when to lean on others for support. By embracing this balance, we can navigate life's challenges more effectively and with greater resilience. Part 9. I deserve better. The phrase "I deserve better" is often used as a way to express dissatisfaction with a situation, whether in relationships, work, or life in general. While it might seem like a form of self-affirmation, from a Stoic perspective, this mindset can be problematic. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to cultivate contentment with what we have, rather than fixating on what we believe we deserve. When someone says, "I deserve better," it often reflects a sense of entitlement. This entitlement can lead to frustration and resentment when life doesn't meet our expectations. Stoics, however, understand that the world doesn't owe us anything. Life is unpredictable and often unfair by nature, and clinging to the idea that we are owed something better can set us up for disappointment. Instead of focusing on what we believe we deserve, Stoicism encourages us to shift our perspective to what we can do to improve our situation within the bounds of what we can control. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized that our happiness and well-being are not determined by external circumstances, but by how we choose to interpret and respond to them. By saying, "I deserve better," we place our happiness in the hands of external factors, which are often beyond our control. This approach can lead to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, as there will always be something more or better to desire. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to find contentment in the present moment and to appreciate what we have, rather than yearning for something different. Moreover, the mindset of "I deserve better" can undermine our gratitude. Gratitude is a central tenet of Stoic philosophy, as it helps us recognize the value in our current circumstances and fosters a sense of inner peace. When we focus on what we believe we deserve, we may overlook the blessings and opportunities that already exist in our lives. By practicing gratitude, we shift our focus from what is lacking to what is already abundant, which can lead to a more fulfilling and contented life. Additionally, this mindset can create unnecessary tension in our relationships. When we believe we deserve better, we may start to view others critically, comparing them to an idealized standard that they can never fully meet. This can strain relationships and create a sense of isolation. Stoicism, however, encourages us to approach others with compassion, understanding, and acceptance, recognizing that everyone is flawed, including ourselves. And Part 10. This will never work. The phrase "this will never work" is a statement of defeat before even attempting to solve a problem or face a challenge. From a Stoic perspective, such a mindset is limiting and counterproductive. Stoicism teaches us to approach life's difficulties with resilience, determination, and an open mind, rather than surrendering to pessimism. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of our attitude and mindset in determining how we navigate the world. When we declare that something will never work, We are essentially choosing to focus on failure rather than on potential solutions. This mindset not only discourages us from taking action, but also blinds us to opportunities for growth and success. Instead of embracing this defeatist attitude, Stoicism encourages us to adopt a more constructive approach, to ask, what can I do to make this work? One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is the belief that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses to them. When faced with a challenge, the Stoic response is not to give in to despair, but to analyze the situation, identify what is within our control, and take purposeful action. Even if the outcome is uncertain, the effort we put forth is what truly matters. By focusing on what we can do, rather than on the obstacles in our way, we maintain our agency and our sense of purpose. Moreover, saying "this will never work" often stems from a fear of failure or the unknown. Stoicism teaches us to confront these fears head-on, understanding that failure is not something to be feared, but rather a natural part of the learning process. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, reminds us that obstacles are not only inevitable, but also opportunities for growth. When we encounter resistance, it is an invitation to develop new skills, refine our strategies, and strengthen our character. Additionally, the phrase "this will never work" can stifle creativity and innovation. By closing ourselves off to possibilities, we prevent ourselves from exploring alternative approaches or thinking outside the box. The Stoic mindset, however, encourages adaptability and the willingness to experiment with different solutions. This flexibility is crucial in overcoming challenges and finding paths to success where others might see only dead ends. Part 11. I wish things were different. The phrase "I wish things were different" encapsulates a common sentiment that many of us experience when confronted with challenging or undesirable circumstances. However, from a Stoic perspective, this mindset is unproductive and even counter to the principles of acceptance and resilience. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to accept reality as it is, rather than wishing for it to be otherwise. When we say, "I wish things were different," we are engaging in a form of resistance to the present moment. This resistance creates a gap between our desires and reality, leading to frustration, disappointment, and even despair. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasize that while we cannot control external events, we can control our perceptions and responses. By wishing for things to be different, we waste energy on what cannot be changed, instead of directing our focus towards how we can adapt and respond effectively. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. This idea encourages us to embrace whatever happens in life, good or bad, as necessary and beneficial in the grand scheme of things. Instead of wishing for a different set of circumstances, Stoicism teaches us to accept what is and to find meaning and opportunity in every situation. By doing so, we transform potential setbacks into sources of growth and wisdom. Furthermore, the desire for things to be different can prevent us from fully engaging with the present moment. When we are preoccupied with how we wish things were, we miss out on the opportunities and lessons that the current situation offers. Stoicism encourages mindfulness and presence, urging us to focus on what we can do here and now. By letting go of the desire for a different reality, we open ourselves up to the possibilities of the present, allowing us to respond with greater clarity and purpose. Additionally, wishing for things to be different can lead to a victim mentality, where we feel powerless and at the mercy of circumstances. Stoicism, however, empowers us to take responsibility for our own lives, regardless of external conditions. It teaches us that our true power lies not in changing the world around us, but in changing ourselves, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. This shift in focus from external to internal control is key to cultivating resilience and inner peace. Part 12. I'll be happy when. The phrase, "I'll be happy when," is a common expression that reflects a conditional approach to happiness, one that ties our sense of well-being to future events or achievements. From a Stoic perspective, this mindset is problematic because it places our happiness outside of our control and perpetually postpones contentment. Stoicism teaches us to find happiness in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances, by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. When we say, "I'll be happy when," we are implicitly telling ourselves that our current state is inadequate and that true happiness lies in some distant, often uncertain future. This mindset creates a gap between our present experience and our desired state, leading to dissatisfaction and a constant yearning for more. The Stoics understood that this kind of thinking traps us in a cycle of endless pursuit, where happiness remains always just out of reach, tied to external achievements or possessions. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the idea that happiness and contentment are internal states, not dependent on external conditions. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, emphasized that true happiness comes from within and is a result of living in accordance with our virtues and values. By focusing on the present moment and aligning our actions with our principles, we can cultivate a deep sense of contentment that is independent of external outcomes. Moreover, the conditional approach to happiness embodied in "I'll be happy when" often leads to the hedonic treadmill, a psychological phenomenon where, as soon as we achieve a goal or acquire something we desire, we quickly adapt to it and set new conditions for happiness. This constant striving prevents us from appreciating what we already have and from experiencing genuine, lasting satisfaction. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us to practice gratitude and to find joy in the simple, everyday moments of life. By appreciating what we have now, rather than fixating on what we lack, we can break free from the cycle of perpetual longing. Additionally, placing our happiness in the future undermines our ability to fully engage with the present. When we are constantly looking ahead, we miss out on the richness of the current, the only moment over which we truly have control. Stoicism encourages us to be mindful, to live fully in the present, and to take each day as an opportunity to practice virtue and to find contentment in the here and now. Part 13, They Made Me Feel. The phrase, "they made me feel," is a common way to express how someone else's actions have impacted our emotions. However, from a Stoic perspective, this statement reflects a misunderstanding of where our emotional power truly lies. Stoicism teaches that no one can make us feel anything without our consent. Our emotions are a product of our own judgments and interpretations, and we have the power to choose how we respond to external events. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we react. When we say, "they made me feel," we are giving away our power to others, suggesting that they have control over our inner state. This mindset is disempowering and can lead to feelings of victimhood and helplessness. Stoicism, however, encourages us to reclaim our emotional sovereignty by recognizing that our feelings are the result of our own thoughts and perceptions. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle underscores the importance of personal responsibility in managing our emotions. When we encounter a situation that elicits a strong emotional response, the Stoic approach is to pause, reflect, and examine our internal judgments. Are we interpreting the event in a way that serves us? Are we allowing our emotions to be dictated by someone else's actions? By taking responsibility for our emotional responses, we empower ourselves to choose more constructive and balanced reactions. Furthermore, by believing that others make us feel a certain way, we can become trapped in a cycle of reactivity. This cycle can strain relationships, as we may blame others for our emotional states rather than addressing the root of our feelings within ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to break this cycle by fostering emotional resilience and self-awareness. By understanding that our emotions are within our control, we can respond to others with greater equanimity and clarity. In addition, the phrase "they made me feel" often implies a lack of agency in our emotional life. Stoicism, however, encourages us to cultivate inner strength and independence. When we understand that our emotions are our own, we can engage with the world from a place of confidence and stability, rather than being swayed by the actions or words of others. Datsun Suarez, Part 14. I don't care. The phrase "I don't care" is often used to express indifference or detachment from a situation or person. While it might seem like a way to protect oneself from emotional involvement or disappointment, from a Stoic perspective, this mindset can be both misleading and detrimental. Stoicism teaches that true wisdom and strength come from caring deeply but wisely, from engaging with the world in a thoughtful and measured way, rather than shutting ourselves off from it. At first glance, saying "I don't care" might appear to be an expression of Stoic detachment, but there's a crucial difference between Stoic detachment and indifference. Stoic detachment, or apatheia, is about maintaining emotional equilibrium and not allowing external events to disturb our inner peace. It's not about refusing to care. Rather, it's about caring in a way that is aligned with virtue and reason. When we say "I don't care," we risk disengaging not only from what might be trivial or harmful, but also from what is meaningful and worthy of our attention. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the concept of appropriate action, kathekon, which involves understanding our roles and responsibilities in various aspects of life and fulfilling them with integrity. Whether it's in our relationships, our work, or our contribution to society, Stoicism teaches that we should care about the right things and act in accordance with our values. Indifference, as suggested by the phrase "I don't care," can lead to neglecting these responsibilities and missing opportunities to act virtuously. Moreover, indifference can erode our connections with others. Humans are inherently social beings, and Stoicism recognizes the importance of our relationships and communities. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized the interconnectedness of all people and the need to care for one another. When we say "I don't care," we might be distancing ourselves from others, creating isolation, and undermining the bonds that sustain us. However, it's also important to recognize that Stoicism does advocate for selective caring. Not everything deserves our attention or emotional investment. The Stoic approach is to care about what truly matters, what is within our control and what aligns with our principles. Saying "I don't care" as a blanket statement can prevent us from making these crucial distinctions. Part 15. I'm done learning. The phrase "I'm done learning" is a declaration that directly contradicts the Stoic pursuit of wisdom and self-improvement. From a Stoic perspective, the journey of learning is never complete, and to believe otherwise is to limit one's potential for growth, understanding, and fulfillment. Stoicism teaches that wisdom is a lifelong endeavor, and an intelligent person recognizes that there is always more to learn, regardless of age, experience, or status. The Stoics placed a high value on continuous learning and the development of character. For them, the process of learning was not just about acquiring knowledge, but about cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, often wrote in his Meditations about the importance of self-examination and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. He understood that no matter how much he had learned, there was always more to understand, more to reflect upon, and more ways to grow. When someone says, "I'm done learning," they close themselves off to new ideas, perspectives, and opportunities for self-improvement. This mindset can lead to stagnation, where one becomes complacent with their current level of knowledge and stops seeking further growth. Such complacency is contrary to the Stoic ideal of prohairesis, the ability to make moral choices and to continually refine one's character through learning and experience. Moreover, believing that there is nothing left to learn can foster arrogance, as it implies that one has reached the pinnacle of knowledge. Stoicism, however, teaches humility. It reminds us that no matter how much we know, there is always more to discover. The world is vast, and human experience is complex, offering infinite opportunities for learning. A Stoic approach encourages us to remain curious, open-minded, and humble in the face of the unknown. In addition, continuous learning is essential for adapting to life's challenges. The world is constantly changing, and new situations and dilemmas arise that require fresh insights and understanding. By committing to lifelong learning, we equip ourselves with the tools needed to navigate these changes effectively and to respond with wisdom and resilience. In embracing Stoic silence and the principles behind it, we unlock a deeper wisdom that transcends mere words. The phrases we choose to avoid, whether it's "I already know that," "this isn't fair," or "I'm done learning," reflect not just a mindful approach to language, but a conscious decision to live with intention, humility, and resilience. Stoicism teaches us that our true power lies in how we respond to life's challenges, how we cultivate inner peace, and how we continually strive for self-improvement. By being mindful of what we say and the thoughts that shape our words, we align ourselves with Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues guide us not only in how we speak, but also in how we act, think, and engage with the world around us. Through this journey of thoughtful speech and action, we build stronger relationships, foster inner peace, and live more fulfilled lives. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Stoic silence and the wisdom of restraint. Remember, it's often in what we choose not to say that our true strength and wisdom are revealed. Stay thoughtful, stay wise, and continue your journey of Stoic mastery. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Stoic content.